Okay, so today we are starting another topic of this chapter matter. So first, before we start this topic, first let's talk about what we learned yesterday. Okay, so the first thing we learned yesterday is this one. Okay, so the first thing that we learned yesterday is matter. What is matter? Anything that has mass and occupies space is called what? Matter, right? And like for example, any physical thing like this marker, book, notebook, these all are what? Matter. The video is turned on. So because if you put this on table or any kind of surface, it will occupy space and it has a certain mass, right? Focus. So anything that has mass and occupies space is called matter. Now, state of matter on the basis of physical property. Now, there are three states of matter on the basis of what? Physical property, right? The first state is solid. Solid, anything that has mass, a definite volume, and a definite shape is known as solid. So anything that has mass and the volume, like here, this pen, this marker has mass and the volume, and then it is solid, right? So focus. So anything that has mass and a definite volume, a definite shape is known as solid. For example, book, pen, brick, table, these all are what? Solid things. Now let's talk about the second. Yesterday we talked about this thing. Second, so state of matter, liquid. Liquid, anything that has mass, a definite volume, and takes the shape of its container is called liquid. So like water, alcohol, oil, these are the examples of liquid. Like if you put the water in a pot or in any kind of container, it will become the shape of water will turn like the container, right? So anything that has mass and takes the shape of its container is called liquid. Like if you put the water in a square box, the water will turn into the shape of water will become like a square, right? So water, alcohol, liquid, petrol, these are examples of what liquid. Now the third state of matter is gas. Anything that has mass and takes both the shape and volume of its container is known as gas, right? So anything that has mass, and if you put the gas in the container, it will take the shape of the container and also the volume. So that thing is known as gas. For example, oxygen, hydrogen, carbon dioxide, they are the example of gas. And these are the things that we learned yesterday. There are also another thing that we learned yesterday. I can't mention all the things right here in this video because the video will become more longer. So if you want to watch the video if you want to learn the things that we learned today, then link is given below. Tap the link and you can watch that video. So tap the link is given below. If you want to learn the things, if you want to learn the things that we learned yesterday, then the link is given. Tap the link to watch that video and then watch this video. So now let's talk about what we are going to learn today. So basically we are starting the structure of an atom. The structure of atom. Today our topic is the structure of an atom, right? This is the book I'm using to teach you guys. Let's drag the topic over here. The structure of an atom. The structure of an atom. So the structure of an atom. First, let's talk about what is an atom. So an atom is the smallest particle of an element that has the the same property of that element. An atom is the smallest particle of an element that has the property of that element. This is the definition of atom. I also talked about this thing yesterday in that video. So if you want to learn about atom molecule, we have already discussed about that. So link is given. I already told you. So let's start with atom first. Atom. What is atom? So let me write here. There are two definitions. First one is atom. The first definition that we talked yesterday is an atom is of that E and E, M, and D. So this is the definition of atom. An atom is the smallest particle of an element that has the properties of that element. So this is the definition that we talked yesterday. Let me give you another definition that is given in the book. An atom is the smallest particle of an element which takes part in a chemical reaction without division. As you guys already know, an atom is indivisible, means you can't divide any atom in two parts or more than two parts, right? So an atom is indivisible. Because why it is indivisible? Because it's so small. So it is like you can't divide any atom in two or more than two parts because it's so small, right? So another definition is an atom is the smallest particle of an element which takes part in a chemical reaction without division, right? So an atom is the smallest particle of an element which takes part in any kind of chemical reaction without any division. I mean, it does not divide in two parts, right? So let me write the definition over here. An atom, instead of writing it, let me just show you the definition. So this is the definition. An atom is the smallest particle of an element which takes part in a chemical reaction without any division, right? So when an atom reacts, it does not divide in two parts, right? So this is the first definition. And the second definition is an atom is the smallest particle of an element that has the same property of that element. So this definition is a little bit good, so I recommend you to write this definition. And it is also written in the book. So use this definition. Now, and also the atoms are different. Means an atom of hydrogen atom and sodium atom are different. I mean, the atoms of different elements are different. Atoms of different elements have different atoms. Like atom of hydrogen, they have hydrogen atom. So hydrogen atom and like say sodium atom, they are different. So atom of different elements have different atoms. They are not the same, right? And do you know what is the shape of an atom? It is like a sphere. Let me erase this thing. According to scientists, an atom is a sphere with a diameter of approximately 10 to the power minus 10 meters. The diameter of an atom, let me write this, diameter of an atom is 10 to the power minus 10 meters, right? Or 10 to the power minus 10 meters. This is the diameter. It's so small, right? 10 to the power minus 10 meters. So this is the diameter. And in the 19th century, it was found that there are other smaller particles in an atom. They help those particles help to make an atom. So like atoms are made of those particles, and the name of those particles are uh, they are electrons, protons, and neutrons. These are these particles are called subatomic particle or fundamental particles. So this is the note. I'm also making notes for you guys, so you can copy. So I'm doing very hard work for you. So make sure you subscribe to the channel. And according to scientists, an atom is a sphere with a diameter of approximately 10 to the power minus 10 meter. An atom is like a sphere. It is not like a circle. It is kind of a sphere, like a ball. They are like what? A sphere. How can you draw a sphere? It is like this. Let's imagine that an atom is like a sphere, and its diameter is approximately 10 to the power minus 10. What is the diameter? 10 to the power, you can speak, minus 10 to the power minus 10. Focus here, not on the camera. 10 to the power minus 10 meters. This is the diameter of an atom. You'll also get asked in the exam that what is the diameter of an atom. So you have to write this thing. The diameter of an atom is 10 to the power minus 10 meters. In the 19th century, it was found that there are other smaller particles in an atom. They are protons, and neutrons. So inside the atom, there are some particles which help to form an atom. First particle is electrons. Focus here. Don't focus on the camera. Protons. And the third particle is what? Neutrons. So these are the particles which help to form an atom. An atom is made of these three particles. So inside an atom, there are three particles: electron, proton, and neutrons. Electrons, protons, and neutrons. So you need to remember also this thing. There is a very fundamental thing, right? Very basic thing. And these particles are called subatomic particles, right? Subatomic particles. These particles are called subatomic particles or fundamental particles. So inside these particles, the name of the particle is what? A subatomic particle or fundamental particles. You can take the screenshot to make your notes. Okay? Okay. So now let's talk about how atom is like. If you take a look inside the atom, what kind of things are found inside the atom. So let's say this is inside the atom, there is a center, right? Let me draw a little bit bigger. The center. And this center is called what? Nucleus, right? You can see over here, I have written this thing. Among the three subatomic particles of an atom, protons and neutrons are located at the center of an atom called nucleus. So like I already told you, in the 19th century, it was found that there are other smaller particles in an atom called electrons, protons, and neutrons. They are called subatomic particles, right? So among the three subatomic particles of an atom, protons and neutrons are located at the center of an atom called a nucleus. So this center of an atom is called what? nucleus, right? This is called nucleus. Let me write the name over here. Nucleus, Nucleus. So this is nucleus, right? Electrons revolve around the nucleus in a fixed path called orbit or shell. So this is the nucleus of an atom, and inside the nucleus there are protons and neutrons. So these small things that you see, they are protons and neutrons. So you have to remember the structure. Inside an atom, there is a center which is called nucleus, and inside the nucleus, protons and neutrons are located, right? At the center of an atom called a nucleus. And now electrons revolve around the nucleus in a fixed path called orbit or shell. So they are a path like this. So you can see in an atom there is a nucleus and there is a path, or you can call orbit or shell. These paths are called orbit or shell, and electrons revolve around the nucleus in this path. So in this path there are some electrons. On this path there are electrons. Electrons are located on this part. So these are electrons revolving around the nucleus, right? So these are electrons. Let me write here. Electrons. So these are electrons. Electrons are located on this path. Electrons revolve around the nucleus in a fixed path called orbit or shell. So this thing is called, these paths are called orbit or shell. Okay? And inside the nucleus there are protons and neutrons. Okay, right? So this is the structure of an atom. So you need to remember this structure. Okay? So I hope this is and after this we will discuss tomorrow. Let me again explain this thing a little bit in brief. First, among the three subatomic particles, neutrons and protons are located at the center of an atom called nucleus. So neutrons and protons are located at the center, and that center is called what? Nucleus, right? So inside the nucleus, electrons and protons are located, and not electrons, protons and neutrons. Sorry for that. Protons and neutrons are located at the center, right? And electrons revolve around the nucleus in a fixed path called orbit or shell, right? So these electrons revolve around the nucleus in a fixed path called orbit or shell. So you need to remember the position you need to remember that where these protons, neutrons, and electrons are located in atoms. So proton and neutron are located at the center in the nucleus, and electrons, they revolve around the nucleus in a fixed orbit called shell or orbit. So you can see over here, this protons and neutrons are in the nucleus, and this big thing is called nucleus, and you can see these dots. So they are electrons. They revolve around you can draw many shell like I've only drawn 2 shells over here. You can do 3, 4, right? So they are electrons. These dots are called electrons. And the atomic model, or the atomic model or electrons distribution around the nucleus is very similar to the arrangement of the solar system. And the nucleus represent the sun, and the electrons represent the planets. So this atomic model is very similar to our solar system. You can see this nucleus represents the sun, and these electrons represent the planet. I mean, in the solar system, the main center is what? Sun, and planets revolve around the sun. Same thing is, so same, it is same over here. The atomic model represents the solar system. This nucleus is the sun, and the electrons revolve in a fixed path called orbit or shell, like a planet. So that is it for today. I hope these are the things we studied today. If you want, you can take the screenshot. And that's it for this video. The next video will come tomorrow, very soon, on this channel. So if you are new here on this channel, then make sure you hit that Z button and tap on the bell icon, because we make these kinds of videos to help you understand the hard topic. So that's it. See you soon. Subscribe.